you have a vanishing point way off the end of the picture, so you have to make sure that you keep in mind that, you know, the roofs have to kind of converge. The two sides of the roof have to converge. So
do you have to research the dress people would have worn at that
I
period
have
of time
I have a
as
number
well?
of things that people did wear from that era. Dover Books publishes a lot of catalogs. They publish the old Sears catalogs. They have a number of things on old dress.
So you use all the help that you can.
Everything I can.
It sounds like you're a wonderful historian in addition to being a wonderful artist.
Well, yes, I say you known
have
to
to
be.
be.
Yeah, you have to be, because every now and then you really get caught in situations where people start disputing your historical assertions.
Right.
Now here is another. This is one of my favorite things to do.
This is lovely.
Yeah, this is Los Angeles Harbor. This is San Pedro by starlight. And this is Los Angeles Harbor around 1913. Now, at this point here is the old ferry building, which is now the San Pedro Maritime Museum. The trains were all from the Southern Pacific Line. There was also the Outer Harbor Terminal Railway, which I don't have their engines here. I have them in another painting. But this train, number 1076, I purchased a book of all the rolling stock of the Southern Pacific Railway, and this was listed as having run on the San Pedro line, so I put that there. This was a maybe, and most likely did run to San Pedro as a passenger train. It was renumbered at a later date, but the original number at that time was number 1827. And this is just a very charming scene. I did this once as a daytime scene, and I liked it so much because it was so complex and there was so much to do that I redid it as a night scene. And I went down to Los Angeles Harbor and I interviewed Eddie Casanella, who is one of the oldest people on the docks. He works for Wilmington Transportation Company. And he gave me the information on some of the tugboats. And I said, we identified this one tugboat as belonging to the San Pedro Tug and Barge Company. And they were known as the Red Stack Line because of their famous red smokestacks.
The red smokestack
yeah,
there, yeah.
Which is an obvious thing to do. And they never named their boats, but they numbered them. And he gave me some of the numbers that were used, so I chose number 29.
So there, can you see it on the left part of the,
Over here.
The painting there?
Yeah.
Is number 29 with the red stack. You know what I love about this too is the beautiful reflections in the water.
You want to know how it's done?
Sure, tell us how that's done.
Okay. Well, in order to set a reflection up, the reflection will reflect from this point here. So you pick an equidistant point here. You make this approximately that distance. You measure it from here to here and there to there.
I see.
Okay. Then you just go. Well, you draw little jagged lines. You make ripples.
Where did you learn this? Did you take art lessons? How did you learn?
No, I'm self-taught.
You're self-taught.
And I don't. Well, this might sound a little bit immodest, but you're just born to it. I also used to be a professional musician, and one of the things I noticed from a young age, even with the art thing, is that when I saw somebody else play an instrument from the age of about 9, I saw the Detroit Police Band. They brought them to school, and I was watching the trombonist, and I said, "Gee, I know how that guy does it. I can feel how he does it."
Yeah.
And you develop almost this physical empathy when you saw somebody play an instrument. And so I went on, to become a professional musician for a while. And the same thing with art. You saw something that somebody did, and you say, well, gee, I could do that. And you get this sense, this internal sense about yourself that you could do it, and it's a matter of spending the time and developing the discipline to get these things.
Well, how long did it take from the point where you said to yourself, I can do this, to the point where you actually could and do it well?
Well, that's kind of questionable because, you're being, well, what is well?
Yes,
how
that's
well,
true.
I began to get people's notice after about 9 months of painting, and that was in oil.
And how long have you been painting now?
For about 12 years.
12 years.
But I was hitting the markets professionally with a rather unique product after about 5 years.
I see.
Okay, and I was.
Here's another one of your lovely waterfronts. Which waterfront is this?
This is Old Gloucester.
I was going to say, this looks very New Englandish to me.
Yes. Now, this is one of the far corners of Gloucester Harbor. And there was this old photograph in a book that's like a good basis for a photograph. So I wrote the Gloucester Chamber of Commerce and the Cape Ann Historical
Cape Ann,
Society. Yeah.
This is in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts,
yes.
and they sent me some maps, and then I went to the library and got some old National Geographics from 1949. to research the color and to see to what extent the harbor had changed. And this I think is the old city hall back there. So I was able to locate where in the harbor this was, and I was able to find some other old photographs to match. And there had been a number of changes. By 1949, these buildings were virtually all demolished, and new buildings were in their place. But this was kind of an interesting thing to do because I had to develop so many points of interest here because there was really nothing interesting here. So I had to start researching old signs, old advertising signs. I had to start researching some of the old vessels that ran in the area. And this was it the Madeline Charles?
Yes.
And this was owned by a French consortium. It was originally an American boat, but it was later bought out by a French consortium who ran the boat for a number of years.
Now,
on
what
these
kind of boats are these?
these are old. These are schooners.
Okay.
And
So they would have transported
a lot of these were used for
goods?
fishing. A lot of them for cargo, inter-island cargo. This was also a small cargo boat. They used a number of boats. The Passamaquoddy boat. There were a number of all these little boats that were named for the various islands, and they were all basically the same boat with certain variations and modifications that were usually developed to help them navigate the waters in which they were operating. So
just lovely, lovely work.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. When we return, we'll look at a few others, including one of the most interesting ones, I think, because it's